Have you ever tried to convince yourself that you were okay when all of the evidence was pointing towards the fact that you actually were not? If you answered yes to that question, congratulations, you have deceived yourself just as many others have. This week, we're covering mindset. And today, we're going to be covering the one type of mindset that if you are deceived in this one area, you will spend the rest of your life going in circles. And that area is self-awareness.
Yeah, deception is a heavy topic in terms of mindsets and self-awareness. I know John Bevere says that the worst thing about being deceived is you don't know that you're deceived. Mm-hmm. And here's why it's dangerous. Yesterday we spoke about imagination. We spoke about really knowing what the end looks like before you start. So that way, when it gets hard, you have your why to keep going. But self-awareness is so important because, we all learned in elementary school that the closest or the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Mm-hmm. And we have this point now, after we've imagined what the end looks like, as point B, and where we are now is point A. And the straightest distance between those is to go straight from point A to point B. But if you've deceived yourself into thinking you are somewhere and you're not, mm-hmm. then any route that you try and take to get to point B is not going to take you there. Mm-hmm. You're mm-hmm. on a different plan. You're on a different path. I know you're going to talk about this. This is something that we heard years ago when it comes to coaching and counseling, that if you tell me a lie, then I counsel you on that lie. And that's dangerous because then the counsel is no benefit to you.
Absolutely. And here's a practical example. So we own a counseling practice, and this happens very rarely, but it does happen, where we get a client that comes in for an intake, and that's the session that you're supposed to be the most truthful about your history, about where you want to go. And these clients have come in before and they've told some, I don't want to call them lies, but some little twists and turns to the truths that they are supposed to be sharing. And what happens is that the counselor, because of their expertise, they're able to see through some of these lies. They're able to see what's really going on the inside. And the biggest issue with this is that the counselor has to counsel them solely based on the lie that they're sharing. And the results that the client might want or may have come in for is not going to be the results that they're going to get because they started with a lie and it's diverted their course a bit. This is a principle that you shared with me a few years back, and it's always stuck with me, and it makes so much sense. And this is it. If a plane is flying 1 degree off center and it just continues on that course 1 degree off center, it will land 92 feet away from its original landing spot. And that's per mile flown. Mm. That's a really big difference. If you're trying to land somewhere and you're 1 degree off center, you are going to land somewhere totally different than you intended to land.
Yeah. I believe it was Mark Twain who said, "Don't beat me up, all the YouTube-y people who know quotes." I believe it was Mark Twain who said that I can help any man get anything they want in life, but I just can't find a man who can tell me exactly what he wants. Mm. And I think I would go even further and say, we can help any man or woman get anything they want in life, but we can't find anybody who will tell us exactly what they want, but also tell us exactly where they are.
Absolutely.
Now, when it comes to those clients, there's a difference between being deceived and lying to yourself. Mm-hmm. And we see both. There's some clients who know that what they're reporting to the counselor is not truthful. But that's not even the more dangerous of the two. The more dangerous of the two are the clients who will lie and believe it themselves.
Oh my gosh, I cringe at that because that is so detrimental to growth. So detrimental. One of the first things that needs to be accomplished when you start counseling, when you start your journey to change, it doesn't matter if it's in a counseling setting, it doesn't matter if you've made that decision for yourself to begin to change and become who God's called you to be. The first thing that is vital to this process is gaining self-awareness. Forget everything else. Forget technique, forget concepts, forget theory, forget everything. The most important thing is becoming aware of your thoughts, of your feelings, of everything about yourself and your being. The clients who gain an increased level of self-awareness within those first 4 weeks are the clients who are guaranteed success in their journey of growth. And the clients who resist becoming self-aware are the ones who delay their progress or don't see success. Now, yes, I know we're talking about this within a therapeutic context, but this is all applicable to real life experience.
Yeah, and when we talk about self-awareness, really we're touching on identity. We're touching on who we are and how we see who we are. And there's really three types of identities. If you want to think of it in terms of the mindset breakthrough that you want to achieve on this fast, you want to get to level 3. The first level of identity is how you see you, but God doesn't see you. That's called a lie identity. That's things that aren't true about you, but you believe yourself. That's where the deception lies. The second area is how you see you and how God also sees you. That's a partial identity. The third area, though, is where we want to break into in terms of mindset. That's the things that God sees about you that you don't yet see about yourself. That's your true identity. And that's where we want to get to. I remember where my self-awareness journey kind of started. I heard this quote, which if you haven't figured out by now, I'm a big quote guy. But I heard this quote years ago, and it was both the best and the worst thing that I had ever heard. It was at the same time incredibly empowering, but also just tore me down. And the quote was this: "You are exactly in life where you are 100% because of you." And it was I had so much resistance the first time I heard it, because that meant I wasn't happy with my life. And that meant if I wasn't happy with my life, then it's my fault.
It just drops the weight on you.
Yeah.
It just drops the weight.
Yeah.
The
You know what? A lot of people, myself included, at that time wanted to play the victim. And if I'm the victim, that means someone else put me here. Now, here's why it was empowering though. Because if I put me here, I can get me out. But if someone else put me here, here's the problem with victim mentality. If someone else put you where you are, then you have to wait for someone else to get you out of where you are. And God did not make you subject to the actions of other people.
That's right.
He made you in his image. He is a creator. He is an overcomer. So any situation that you face, you can overcome it. But you have to first realize that I'm here because of me. And once you own that, it's humbling, but empowering. And you can finally lift yourself out of that.
Let's take all of this and apply it to the fast that we're currently in. When gold gets refined, it gets melted down at a very high temperature, and the impurities will come to the surface. They get scooped out, and what's left is just pure raw gold. And in the same way, this fast is going to bring impurities in your mindset to the surface. As you go through this fast, pay very close attention to what your thoughts look like. The thoughts that might be presenting themselves during this fast are not just random thoughts. They're not thoughts that are coming to the surface because you're hungry or you're hangry or you're cranky. These are thoughts that have been so settled into your mindset that the heat from the fast is bringing them up and out. And the beautiful thing about this fast is that as you continue to fast and you get melted down and these mindsets that don't belong come to the surface, you have an opportunity to identify those thoughts. You have the opportunity to call those thoughts out, and you have the opportunity to make those thoughts align with the truth of Christ. And when you are self-aware enough to do that, God then takes the opportunity that you are allowing him to have to remold you into something new.